So I'd like to talk for a second about Bitcoin. One of the many questions I get asked pretty frequently these days is, should I invest in Bitcoin? Bitcoin is currency trading. So on a very high level, just in general, whether you're talking about, investing in euros or rubles, just because it's currency, that makes it by nature a more aggressive, higher risk investment. If we look at the volatility of Bitcoin recently, it dropped last year alone from $20,000 in value to $3,500 in value, right? That's a very steep dip in a very, very short amount of time. It reminds me of one of the articles I read about in the journal where there was a South Korean political figure that went missing, and his big campaign was he wanted to either control or do away with Bitcoin. Understand that when governments can't control something like a currency, they're going to be against it. Now, I understand that certain states have legalized it and recognized it as a currency, but the popularity is based on hype. There's a great example of what's called tulip fever, when back in the 1600s in Amsterdam, that was the epicenter of tulip trading. That tulip is in the flower, where the price of a tulip jumped from some astronomical number. I think it was nothing on up to, $800 per tulip in today's currency, adjusting for inflation, upwards of thousands of dollars. And one day, all of a sudden, the supply became too plentiful and the demand dropped significantly, where tulips no longer had the same value it once did. We're seeing that with Bitcoin. If you didn't already know, Bitcoin's popularity came about through the black market, where through things like the dark web, people were trading illicit and illegal goods and services using Bitcoin as a currency because it was untraceable. And I think that's one of the reasons it kind of blossomed with its popularity. And yes, it carried over to other aspects, and it became more viable as a currency in general, just because of its ease of use, and the fact that it became high demand, and hype just kind of in supply demand, jettisoned that to this stratosphere. And then that's really, this last year, it's dropped significantly. And I think we may even see at some point an even more significant drop where Bitcoin may be next to nothing at one point. But I think overall, it's going to be a successful currency. I can't talk about the other types of currency out there, things like Ethereum, iCoin, eCoin, all those other ones. I mean, the fever has gotten so bad where there are companies on Facebook that make announcements. They're going to hype it up, and then they're telling people when to buy and trade this currency, which is basically market manipulation, and that's really illegal. But I'm sure people have been prosecuted at some point over that. I'd like to think they've been caught and prosecuted over this. But in short, you're looking at a very volatile investment, and I don't think that's a very good way to go. I mean, as a firm, we're very conservative anyway. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, we're very conservative. We like conservative assets. So this wouldn't even be on our radar. But unless you're a gambler, a very big gambler, and okay with losing this money. My grandfather once said, never invest in money you're not okay with losing. And I think this particular case is especially true. So in my personal opinion, stay away from Bitcoin. If you have it, maybe it'll go up, maybe not, maybe it's a long-term hold, I don't know. But I would recommend staying away from it. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you have gotten something out of this module. Feel free to peruse the other modules, and I wish you all the best. Happy investing.